Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Zero to Hero, where we are going to be creating a character for the City of Heroes Homecoming servers, taking it from bare bones nothing, just an idea, just an itch, a concept in my brain, to a fully fledged, ready to launch hero or villain, your choice, in a nice spandex costume. And we're going to be using a new tool that I don't know if anybody else has really gotten into too much. At least I've not seen any videos about it, and that is ChatGPT. I've been working with this bad girl for the last few sessions here, taking her ability to reach out and grab all kinds of information from who knows where and generate some interesting ideas. But I've been trying to teach her, train her on how to make a character. And we've been using mids, the old hero creator, Mids Reborn, to generate our slotting, our powers, that sort of thing. I'm sure a lot of you guys have used this program. If not, go and download it from Mids Reborn. What are you waiting for? And anyway, we're taking Kathy here and Mids and the City of Data and coming up with our concept for this hero, who is Frisson Sensate. He is a controller with empathy as his secondary, symphony control as his primary, and we went with ice mastery as his epic set. And where we're at, after 5 hours of working with mids for selecting the powers and choosing where to put our enhancements, we're at a stage where we want to actually fill in our blanks here with IO sets. So that is what this episode's about. We're going to go ahead and figure out what all should go into these various powers here, aside from generic IOs. There's nothing wrong with running generic IOs if you don't really want to get involved in the invention system, but I highly encourage you to give it a shot because it really transforms your character into something fantastic and unlocks their true potential. So we're going to go ahead and fire up our buddy Mids here again and Chatty. And we're going to go ahead and rock this one out. So, spoiler, I kind of already started fiddling with this. If you look carefully at the Mids build, you see I actually have a few sets that I've kind of punched in there based upon what Kathy here has been telling me. Now, hey, how am I doing this part? Because I think this part may be trickier than just picking powers and whatever. To pick the powers, I had to dump the data from City of Data and give her all the information she needed to pick the powers. But where we left off was level 50. We had finished it, and Kathy here was singing my praises, if you will, giving me thank you, Maestro. She's such a flatterer. And hey, whenever you're ready for the next journey, Zero to Hero 2, IO set planning, Alpha slot unlocks, the Frisson costume montage, I'll be right here. Well, she already kind of has an idea. Look at this. She's already guessing. We are going to go to IO set planning, and we are going to do the unlocks or the incarnate system. We'll get to the costume later. But that's where we kind of left off. So before I jumped into anything more, because I ran into this problem with getting those last few levels out of her, that it took an extra like hour to really just kept having to course correct her. So what I did this time around to reset the stage is I went into mids and I exported this build as a, where is it? Do 1 second while I find this for you. Here it is. So what you gotta do, or what I did, is build sharing, secure share, and this is in the window here. Let me move this down so you can see it a little bit better. Scooty boot. There we go. So you come up here and build sharing, secure share, forum post, and you're going to export that. And it's going to, again, you guys hold on 1 second here so you can actually see this. There it is. All right, I got it now. So anyway, you're going to go to build sharing, secure share, and it's going to pop up this little window here. And so if you want to export this forum post, and all I'm going to do is export it thusly as plain text. I didn't do anything else. Export that. it puts it onto your clipboard. And then once it's on your clipboard, what you're going to be able to do is hop back over to your Chatty Cathy here and paste it. So I slapped it here. So I said is, hey, here's the final 1 to 50 plan we came up with our slotting, and pasted that. So it just takes what if you go to the forums, you look at what people are posting as far as sharing builds, sometimes they'll give you the full rundown. So it gave us the 1 to 50 rundown with the various enhancements that we put in there. And then, boom, slap that in there. And so she's like, oh, wow, seeing that full plan laid out is incredible. It's not just a City of Heroes build, it's a masterfully tuned symphony that mirrors Frisson Sensate's entire concept from start to finish. So then she goes ahead and reviews it. I'm not telling her to do this. She's just deciding to do it on her own. And so she's going back over our plan, the control. We got layered cone control focus, support. We've got healing aura, recovery aura, regen aura, fortitude, adrenaline boost, all team critical, survivability, smash lethal defenses, endurance recoveries tuned early, strong heals. Got some offense from the cones and the just steady DPS. Then you got sustainability, got a bunch of endurance management going on, thematic alignment, something that she's been paying attention to the whole time. This idea of the chills that you get from listening to certain music or certain sounds, like if anybody's into weird ASMR stuff, or you like the sound of vacuum cleaners or hair dryers and gives you the shivers. It's kind of the idea I was going with here, but emotional control this guy is able to do. Anyway, so then she goes on to say favorite specific build touches: Mighty Leap and Takeoff, Assault Aura, Wall of Force, Frost Breath, Dreadful Discord layering, slotting on the Healing Aura, Recovering Aura, Unleash Potential, blah, blah, blah. Concept of final execution. It wasn't just a name for the series. Frisson went from a fragile seer network survivor, which is partially correct. He jacked himself up on some seer cerebral spinal fluid or something like that. Recovered from the network before it went down with the Hamadan destroying the Praetorian Earth. Spoiler. Anyway, blah blah yada yada. Final build score. She's even given a 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. Blah blah yada yada. Final curtain question. Hey, do you want a PDF? Yada yada. So I said, hey, I want to do you one better. Here's what I want now. I want to work through the build and come up with the IO sets and the enhancers. And I say, hey, as you look over the entire build, are there any global stats that could use boosting, like maximum hit points? As you look at the individual powers, are there any specific effects that could use boosting, like control duration, debuff strength, accuracy? Because we can then look at the sets available for each power and choose which ones to take to boost global performance, blah, blah, blah. Put the IO sets in there. And so now she's like, oh, now we're truly stepping into elite level City of Heroes building, which is pretty much what I do all the time. Not that I'm elite, but just, you're using mids to do IO sets. But she's, pumping me up. Not just building character, but perfecting him with targeted IO sets that boost both global stats and power effectiveness. If you need a little pick me up, somebody talking nice to you, Chatty Cathy's your girl. I'm very excited you want to go this deep because, whoa, hold on there, Cathy, because she's naughty, because Frisson deserves this level of craftsmanship. Let's go through this very carefully. Step 1, review your global stat weaknesses. So here's what she's doing. She says, based on Frisson's current basic slotted build without sets, here's what would likely be, potential issues. Maximum hit points is low, controller base HP. Suggesting boosting hit points would dramatically help survivability. Defense, we have low or moderate defense right now. Smash lethal is around 20%. I don't even know if it's that high. With frozen armor and combat jumping. So, hey, we can get some more defense, would be nice. Resistance, it's weak outside toggles. All we have is cold and fire from frozen armor. Nothing else beyond that. Our recharge speed is moderate. We've got recharge boosting in most of our powers, but if we get some more global recharge, that would get our cones up faster, our heals, etc. Accuracy, fine for auto hit powers, is moderate elsewhere. Base powers have solid accuracy slotted, but global accuracy bonus can polish reliability versus +3 and +4 con enemies. Control duration, baseline only. We didn't slot any extra duration on our controls. We went mostly damage. So, hey, we could use some of that. Recovery endurance management is good. No real concern after stamina. I don't know why she thinks Mighty Leap is some endurance thing. Unleash potential. So that's whatever. She's confused. Damage moderate, not a primary concern, but boosting the cone DPS a bit wouldn't hurt. So she's making an analysis. Now you see what I see. I didn't tell her any of that specific stuff. I just said, hey, we should look at the character and decide where we want to go. I just gave a couple examples: max HP, control duration, debuff strength. She runs through all this like that. So this is all her. Okay, this is not me telling her any of this stuff. She's going through and doing a basic analysis that I would do myself as I'm looking at the character. So she's doing it. So then it says, hey, step 2, we need to review specific powers that could use set bonuses. And so she starts looking at healing aura and regen aura, blah, blah, blah. And she starts suggesting perhaps sets as well as what we could use, or what sort of boosting we could do here, and why we would do it. So healing aura, regen aura, recovery aura. Now, the problem is you'll notice she's confused about what sorts of sets that maybe can go into certain powers, like recovery aura. Performance shifter, yes, will fit there, but Numina's does not. Fortitude, command of the mastermind. No, this is not a mastermind. Why are you suggesting that? And expedient reinforcement is a pet set, not fortitude. So again, she clearly doesn't know what she's talking about. So if you yourself are a noob out there and you're trying to use ChatGPT to generate your ultimate build, it's going to fail at that task because it doesn't know the nitty-gritty details of the game well enough. Even though that's all public information out on the internet somewhere, it's not grabbing that data. So I don't know exactly how it's trained or what it does, but it doesn't know everything clearly. So that's what I can see here is I'm going to need to tell her what stuff can go into certain powers. And then she can choose from there, which is what step 3 is talking about. Specific global boosts we could chase: hit points, recharge, defense, control, recovery, etc. And again, she's kind of spitballing some sets that are out there, which a lot of these are true, but again, she's not super knowledgeable. You can kind of just tell she's sort of just repeating the same sets as you go. Then she goes on, short list of key set families, blah, blah, blah. So here's where I get a little bit annoyed with the AI, because I know for a fact, just kind of reading through the stuff, she doesn't know what she's talking about 50%, I don't know, 3/4, something like that. But rather than the AI recognizing its ignorance and then asking you, hey, user, could you help me, give me information? Like, hey, I would love to help you once you give me some data. Can you give me more data? She's assuming she knows stuff and is then presenting it to me as if this is fact here. So that is a cautionary tale to any of you out there who have not used these AIs that much. They're not as smart they don't have the massive database of information that you would expect them to have. They're very good at taking stuff that you give them and moving the pieces around, but they don't have all the pieces. So there's still room for us humans, right? So I know what the pieces are, I know where to find them, and I can feed them to her, and then she can go from there. So that's what I want to do. So she's then summarizing what we have: global weaknesses, best targets for the IO set upgrades. Like, she's thinking we're only going to put IO sets in specific powers. We're going to put IO sets in every power. And then she's going on to give some potential families of sets we'll grab. Would you like me to now go forward and start assigning? No, I don't want her to go forward because she doesn't know what she's talking about. So that's what I pretty much say. I said, no, I think we should have a global plan and then work through each power with its current slotting and review what sets could be placed in it that will both enhance the power to where it is or beyond, plus contribute toward those global goals. We should go one power at a time like we did with the leveling process and study our options so you know what you could pick with 100% reliable information. So my thinking is I want to take her and go level by level, power by power, and say, hey, melodic binding can take these sets. Which do you want to do? That was my plan going into this. Now I'm going to spoiler, I don't follow my plan, but that's because I stumble upon a better way to do this as I start working with her, which you'll see in a second. So that's where we're going here. All right, so go back to Kathy. She's, hey, that's a great idea. Yeah, la la. What should we do? And then she's like, let's start with either the healing aura or looking at the healing aura, recovery aura. So she's kind of like, hey, let's work with these powers. List them out. Going through a bunch of suggestions. Shall we begin with the first power, healing aura? Now, healing aura was one of our first powers. We had that one and we had melodic binding. Those were our 2 level 1 picks. So she starts with that, with that power. And I said, okay, yeah, let's start with healing aura. It's our first power chosen from empathy at level 1. And then I remind her we have 4 slots in this power, and we can fill them with the IO enhancements from healing sets, which include the level ranges. So I gave her the list of healing sets that are available to put into this power, so that she is aware that we have a limitation to these specific sets that we can use. So that's where we're looking at healing aura here. Now, I've already got the one slotted in here that she decided upon, but let's talk about, hey, how did I get to using these preventive medicines? Those are preventive medicines, right? Mouse over those. So, hey, how do we get to the preventative medicine? So that's where the rest of this kind of story goes. So I give her this stuff, but then I also give her some more training, right? I don't assume she knows anything, okay? The AIs are brilliant, but they don't know shit. Okay, so you have to tell them they are a tool, ladies and gentlemen. They are not your overlord masters, okay, who are omniscient. So I tell her those are the sets. Then I go ahead and tell her that, hey, this is also important for us, is that we need to use common sense here as far as rare sets, uncommon sets. They're going to cost money. Money's a potential concern. I also remind her that, hey, the bonuses can't stack more than 5, so I have to tell her about that, the rule of 5. And then I ask her, are you familiar with what each of the listed sets provides in terms of available IOs and bonuses? So I gave her this, and I want to know, do you know what's in each set and what the bonuses are? And of course, you know what she's going to do, right? She says, oh, I'm fully familiar with what each of those sets does, and that the bonuses unlock at 2, 3, and 4 pieces. And you're right, rarity matters a lot, and redundancy matters, so stacking bonuses over the cap is a waste. So let's now work step by step like you requested. So she goes ahead and jumps into analyzing healing aura. We have 4 slots in it, and knows what they are. And right now, what's its role? It's a self heal and a team heal. And then it needs boosting. Yes, maximum hit points, heal percent, recharge percent, recovery. Now here's where you can see she's making a goof already. She's thinking that this power somehow boosts your maximum HP. What's the whatever, name the powers that boost your max HP out there. So it doesn't do that, but anyway, that's what she's thinking, or that you can somehow boost that. And so it can take healing sets. All right, great. Then she looks at the sets that are out there: regenerative tissue, triage, blah, blah, blah. And so she starts listing what the bonuses are over here for 2, 3, and 4. And then she makes note: cheap, bonuses, budget, max HP, raw heal, blah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Going on, going on, going on. And for the most part, these are pretty accurate, although there are some errors in here. Okay, there's a few in there. And so at this point, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should just tell her what sets I want to use. But I'm like, well, no, let me see. Maybe she comes up with some crazy cool thing that I hadn't thought of. And then she goes, all right, strategic evaluation of the healing aura. We want max HP, healing boost, recharge boost. So she's coming up with what we want to boost the power. But again, healing aura does not boost max HP. It does healing and recharge, endurance, reduction, that sort of thing. Recovery is bonus icing if we get it. Cost sensitivity. We can afford expensive sets sparingly because I told her we're not going to go bunch of purples and whatever else. Best fitting sets, she says preventative medicine because of the 4% max HP boost with 2 pieces, great healing bonuses. Doctored wounds is a secondary. Regenerative tissue budget option. Step 4, recommended healing aura slotting. She's like, oh, preventative medicine 4-piece. And the pieces are end reduction, heal, heal, recharge. So right here, she's saying use preventative medicine, knows that it gives you bonuses with different numbers of slotting, but then the pieces she's recommending are just standard IO number, endurance, heal, heal. So she's got this messed up. So that's what she's saying here. Hey, use preventative medicine, endurance, preventative medicine, heal, preventative medicine, heal. So she doesn't know what the enhancements are. And I say, oh, let's move on to the next one. And so here I go. I criticize her. I'm like, hey, you just showed you don't know how the IOs work. Here's what preventative medicine. So I give her a correction, give her a little slap down. Here's preventative medicine's actual status or what it does. And it's, thank you, and then confirms what I just gave her. Correct summary of preventative medicine, correct healing aura analysis. Given that, my new correct suggestion is the preventative medicine end heal, end rec, and heal. Ordering depends a little on pricing availability, yeah. This way we get the large health increase with the 3-piece bonus after slotting the first 3. 4th piece helps control endurance or heal recharge boosts individually inside the power. New final plan for healing aura, preventative medicine, 4-piece, large max HP after 3, good endurance and heal recharge, no wasting, 2 future upgrade notes. Only 4 slots now. You could, in theory, retrain healing aura later because she was mentioning a little bit earlier that, oh, we should go for 5 slots because it has, like recharge or something like that. Now, I haven't presented that as an option yet that, hey, we could respec and change some of our slotting around. I kind of want to get through this preliminary process of choosing sets based upon what we already determined, and then we can maybe, circle back around and change and tweak a few things. All right, so there we go. Corrected key takeaway. You're 100% right to stop and call us out. Real preventative medicine structure means we're focusing on max HP, not plus heal or plus recharge, unless we 6-slot it. Good catch, Maestro. She's again sucking up. Would you like to now lock in healing auras, preventative medicine, move to recovery? So she's like, let's move to recovery aura. Not in my head. Remember, I'm like, hey, I want to go 1 power at a time, level by level. But here's where I correct myself, because now what I start thinking is, all right, we just analyzed that healing set for healing aura. Instead of now switching gears and jumping over to melodic binding and looking at immobilized sets, range damage sets, that sort of thing, I'm like, well, wait. Why don't we take what we just learned about the healing aura and heal sets, and why not just look at the other healing powers I have available? Heal other, regen aura, health. I think there was one other one. Forget what it is. A couple other options out here, right? I think adrenaline boost might take heal sets. Anyway, so I'm like, let's hold on a second. Let's just go ahead and look at all the heal sets at one time, or all the healing powers at once while it's fresh in our mind, and then we can go there. So I said, hey, I'm going to give you a couple other healing sets so you have the complete information. And I just tell her flat out, hey, I don't fully trust your decision making because you're choosing based upon incorrect data and you don't know enough to realize you're using the wrong stuff, or you're embarrassed and you just don't ask for help. And they're like, oh, thank you, truly. I understand. You're absolutely right to hold this to a higher standard. You're investing serious time, which I am. I'm on my 6 hour now of this. And you deserve a partner who works at your level, checking real data, not assumptions. Thank you, Kathy. Here's me saying this clearly. I am not embarrassed. Whoa, little sass to be corrected when needed. I welcome full clarity if you supply. Look at that. She's blaming the victim here. If you supply verified set data. See, she's getting a little sassy. It makes this process stronger, not weaker. I want to build Frisson at a masterclass level, not a casual one. All right. Now she's seeing what I'm trying to do. So please, absolutely post the full correct versions of the other heal sets you want me to reference, just like I did for preventative medicine. So here we go. I give her Panacea. I give her Numina. I give her all the other sets, right? So I'm getting all this information from City of Data and slapping it up here. Now, City of Data, just FYI, they don't give like you can get the exact numbers, but it's just saying like small bonus, tiny bonus, and I'm okay with her kind of just having that sort of qualitative quantum measurements for these numbers. I don't think I need to worry about it's plus 2%, plus 3%, whatever. So I give her all the information from all the sets. Boom, here it is. Make sure you understand what these are. And she said, hey, great. Thanks for giving me all that information. And then she goes back and takes a look at Healing Aura. Set selection is now based on the correct healing set data. Best healing sets for Healing Aura. So she goes back through all the sets again, looking at all the options this time around. Corrected strategic shortlist. So preventative medicine is her gold, number one option. Then Numina, then Miracle, and then regenerative tissue. And then she gives reasons for why each one of them. And so the reason she picked preventative medicine is there's a large max HP bonus because that was one of the goals for the character, get more hit points achieved at 3 pieces. And the fourth slot improves healing, endurance, and recharge inside the power. Best match to Frisson's survivability priority. So that's what she chose to do with preventative medicine, and those were her reasons for doing it. So there we go. We got the heal end wreck, heal wreck end, and heal wreck. So looking at the overall numbers, it's about 75% boost to all its possible stats right now. And then the set bonuses, we got some smash lethal resistance, some max hit points, and some fire cold resistance, which will stack with our armor. It would be nice to get a fifth one in there for the endurance discount. That's what she had been mentioning in the discussion from earlier, and why she was thinking about, hey, we could reslot that thing with 5. But I said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to continue with what we got. Okay, so that's where she's at right now. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Healing aura, final notes, blind, blah, blah. And then she's, just talks about, hey, Panacea is really only good because of the proc. Numinous is excellent, but it's pricey. Miracle better as a proc and health, not a full set here. Hey, do you want to move on into recovery aura? So here's where I say, no, let's switch our strategy. Instead of moving on to the next power, let's stick in the healing category while we have all the set information right in front of us, and we can start plotting if we want to grab the same sets more than once and pile on the boosts. So the whole rule of 5 thing, do we want to get a whole bunch of plus, smash lethal resistance? Well, then we can take the same set multiple times. So I tell her, hey, Frisson's got 3 other powers that take healing sets: heal other, regeneration aura, and health. And then I also tell her there is one power that can take the healing set but doesn't have to. That's adrenaline boost. And then these are the current number of slots in there: 2, 4, 1, 3. So should we use these sets and these powers? And if so, which ones and what enhancements? And so she's like, hey, excellent thinking. This is how real endgame IO planning should be done, which is true. Group powers by set type while the info is fresh, cross stack bonuses, and plot potential redundancies or synergy early. You're absolutely correct to pivot strategies for optimal planning. So then she goes and looks at the powers we're talking about, and then some potential suggestions of what we could put in them. And then she asked me a few questions. Hey, do we want to? It's the first time that she's actually getting information before we move forward. Do we want to repeat preventative medicine? Do we want max HP stacking? Do we want recovery recharge boost? Do we want heal boost? Is the cost a major concern? And then what her thinking would be about those questions. And then reviewing the sets fits power by power. The set fits power by power. Heal other, only got 2 slots, mean you're only getting the second piece bonuses. Best use strategy, small bonuses, or slip a good unique proc in here. So she's talking about maybe Panacea, preventative medicine, Numina, doctored wounds. Best call, she says, Panacea for the 2 piece for recovery bonus, especially if you're using the Panacea unique somewhere else. So she suggests in heal other that we're going to go ahead and put, let me go, the Panacea in here, heal end and wreck, because it gives with 2 slots recovery boosting, which was one of our global goals. So, okay, I can buy that. I'm not too adverse to it. I don't know if it's the best use of money, but I'm going to kind of let her have some free reign. 'Cause I think we can circle back once we're done. Because once we're done, I'm going to repost the build to her like I did to start this conversation and give her all the stuff that we've done with all the boosts and all the numbers now and say, hey, is there anything you want to change before we lock this in? All right, so she wants to do the Panacea. Then Regeneration Aura, that's the 4 slots. This is the regen buff, huge for survival in Frisson's role. 4 slots, prime for strong sets, so she has options Numina, preventive medicine, doctored wounds, etc. Best call, she thinks Numina should go in here. It's expensive, but absolutely worth it to stack max HP and make regen aura stronger. And then health, she's like, hey, it's a passive 1 slot. You want a unique proc here, not a set. And so she's suggesting either Miracle or Numina's, which is usually what I end up doing. Like Numina's my main go-to there. And her best call is Numina's plus regen plus recovery. I didn't tell her what I normally do, right? And just, hey, these are the sets. She's making these choices for herself. If you have room, money, slot Miracle plus recovery somewhere else, often in stamina, which it can't go in stamina. We'll handle that later if needed. And then adrenaline boost, 3 slots, ally buff, healing sets not mandatory. Other good sets for adrenaline boost would be defense, the resistance buffs. I don't know if it takes resistance buffs, recharge buffs. So she has other ideas. Healing set option, harmonized healing, doctored wounds, helps recharge with small heal boost. Alternate approach slot for pure recharge and endurance. Common IOs focus on uptime. Her suggestion is not put any and instead go for just recharge endurance in there to get it up as much and as quickly as we can. So her final recommendations: healing aura, preventative medicine, heal other Panacea twice, regen aura, Numina 4, health Numina unique, adrenaline boost, no healing. And then she's talking about, hey, what are we getting out of doing it this way? Health increases with healing aura, regen aura, recovery boosting because the Panacea and heal other, passive regen, recovery boosting, good internal recharge boosts. The internal, when she's mentioning this, we're talking about the individual recharge that the sets are providing. So then she's saying, hey, it's going to give you 10 to 15 max HP. You're going to get some global recovery, 6 to 8. Your power's recycling faster. Healing is stronger. And no big endurance costs. Hey, what do you want to do next? Okay, so that's where she and I kind of left off. Went through all the healing sets, and I was just following what she suggested doing. Okay, we'll kind of see where this goes, and we'll decide later if we want to make any changes. So at this point, I said, hey, if we go with the set plan for the other powers, which enhancements would we use? So here's what we're talking about. I just want to get clarification specifically which of the endurance, recharge, whatever you want in there. So she's clarifying which she wants to put in each one: regen aura, health, etc., etc., adrenaline boost. Right, just going down the list of what, like, this is the dumbest adrenaline boost slot I've ever seen. Recharge, endurance. Like, who would ever do that with their adrenaline boost? Give you the full summary, going over blah, blah, blah. And then I say, hey, additional info on adrenaline boost. It takes either heal or endurance recovery sets. If you don't want heal sets in here, what about recovery? Just kind of priming her because she seems focused on just generics there. Good clarification. This is exactly the kind of fine tuning that separates a good build from optimized. And hey, you're right. Adrenaline boost can slot heal or endurance mod sets, recovery focus. Since we decided we don't really want healing sets in there, recovery sets are the logical place to look. And so she, again, assumes she knows what all the recovery sets are. Performance shifter, yes. Power transfer, yeah. Entropic chaos is an attack damaging set, so why is she suggesting that for adrenaline boost? No idea. Efficacy adapter. And then she's blah, 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 blabber, blabber, blabber. See how she's immediately making conclusions and huge plans. Going. And then so I correct her. Say, endurance mod sets include, and I give the list. There is no entropic chaos. That's for single target ranged attacks. Acknowledged. Thank you again. Excellent. Verified sets. And then again, now she starts puking out information like she knows all this stuff. Going and going and going, etc., etc. And I have to kind of stop again and give her the specific numbers, the specific data for the sets she can choose from because she's making decisions without apparently knowing what all the sets are and what all the potential bonuses are. I don't know why she keeps jumping into it. You have to like be very specific every time you're talking to her. Otherwise, she's like a pleaser and wants to give you information. So every time you give her a prompt, you need to say, wait until or let me give you the rest. So I'm kind of giving her a correction and I'm not giving her like a solution or a redirect. So then she just goes off on her own, decision making process again. So I give her all the recovery set and mod things so that she has something to look at there, like so. And then she's going to now give me the updated endurance modification set summary. I mean, look how much blabbering she's doing, going on and on and on and on and on about the stuff. And this is all just based upon the fact that I said, hey, adrenaline boost can take NMOD. And she's just like 20 pages of speculation here. And so she's suggesting for it to use performance shifters and recovery and recharge, and then the accuracy endurance recharge. So 3 slotting it with performance shifter. And hey, 3 pieces will give us a large increased health. And if we ever added the 4th slot, we could do large improved recovery. And it says you don't need the performance shifter chance for endurance proc here. That's better using stamina if you really want it. Accuracy is wasted slightly because adrenaline boost is auto hit on allies, but it comes bundled with great recharge endurance boost. So it says it's worth it. Cost is moderate. 5 to 10 million per piece max. I don't think performance shifter is going that high. And where would she get that information anyway? Final conclusion, performance shifter 3 slotted. What do you want to do now? So what do? I go ahead, let me pull up my mids, and I do what she suggested. Let me put adrenaline boosts, give it performance shifter, endurance recharge, and mod, and then the end act recharge. So the overall boosts, the accuracy is wasted, but we've got endurance is 90%, recharge is almost 50%. And set bonus is movement speed. Really don't care about that, but the hit points. It seems like she's really locking into maxing hit points. And I don't know if it's because I gave that as a suggestion of something you can look at, or she like thinks it's really important. I don't know. But that's where she's at now. So I said, okay, let's go with it. See what happens. And then she's like, all right, what do you want to do next? I said, well, let's go ahead and look at stamina. It's got 2 slots, and it can take these sets as well. So she goes, hey, let's do this. And so she says it's great for an endurance mod IO and another recovery IO. And I think it's like she thinks end mod and recovery are 2 different things and not just the same thing. So she goes and says performance shifter. So she's going through the list, looking to see what options you could do. Strategic goal, boost global recovery, it's its main purpose. Boost global health if possible. Don't waste expensive rare pieces. Don't add accuracy or damage. So she's just analyzing the options there. Going on, performance shifter is a possibility. Pros and cons, efficacy adapter, preemptive adrenal adjustment recommendation, performance shifter, endurance recovery. It's just endurance, and then endurance recharge. Why would I put a recharge in stamina? That doesn't make any sense. So slotting plan. So this is what she's suggesting, which is just not good. Bonus option, you could put the performance shifter chance for endurance in there if you really want to crit on natural endurance. But right now, better to just stabilize your recovery globally, not gamble. It's not a gamble if I go ahead and get it. Hey, we want to lock this in. And I say the performance shift endurance recharge makes no sense as stamina is an auto on power that just works without clicking. Oh, you're right. That's important for, fine point of optimization. Stamina's passive. It's not clickable. It only gives a plus recovery automatically every tick. Therefore, recharge is not doing anything. What stamina actually benefits from? Now she's like reevaluating the whole process. Therefore, the correct slotting should be recovery, endurance, performance shifter, and then the N mod. N mod is endurance recovery, unless you means endurance reduction. But recovery, N mod, same thing. Alternatively, you can put the chance for end here, the proc, corrected slotting, TLDR, yada yada, etc., etc., blah blah blah. Go, and I say just put the proc in there already, locking it in. So she locks it in. So 2 slotting, performance shifter. Why is it smart? Blah blah blah, yada yada yada, going. And then she wants to know if I want to do the control powers next. So that is where I've kind of left off camera conversation with her. And that's where we got. But Unleash Potential is another place for these endurance modifications. So I'm gonna hit that one first before we go into anything control wise. So that's what I want to kind of pick this up with right now, is that process. Let's not move away from endurance modification powers yet. Unleash Potential also can take these sets. Is there a set that is worth placing in this self-buffing power? Question mark. We have 3 slots available. So maybe there is some useful set bonuses we can get. Alternatively, we could Franken-slot the power and choose enhancements from different sets to maximize the raw potential of specific stat boosts, like endurance, N mod, recharge, combos times 3. So I don't know if she knows about Frankenstein, so I'm going to tell her about it. Let's see what she wants to do. All right. Now I'm going to go over to mids quick. Take a look. So we've got Unleash Potential right now with 3 slots. And we could Franken-slot it. All right, let's get the pop-out window open. So here is Unleash Potential. Take a look at this. There it is. And right now, the recharge on it is 327. And we've got it 85% recharge. So we could milk a little more recharge. We could get this down close to 300 seconds if we get that up to 100%. So that's potentially what we could do with some Franken-slotting and boost up the recovery. Now we also could put defense and healing sets in here too. I didn't realize that healing sets too. So I think I'm gonna throw that at her as well, just to kind of give her an option to choose from here. Lots of things that could be done with it. Additionally, before we lock in any choices, the power also takes the healing sets we already talked about. So we could use those here as well if we want to boost the regen feature. Lastly, it can also take defense sets, which also include recharge features if that was something we were trying to maximize. At best, we could get 100% recharge reduction with smart slotting that would take the power's recharge down to 300 seconds. If you want to know about the defense sets, let me know. So, got some additional options here for her to consider. All right, so let's see what she's thinking here. If anything. I'm going to go ahead and kind of glance myself just to see what might make sense. I've only got 3 slots in. Now, if I really wanted to build around Unleash Potential for whatever reason, because it is a great power, I would try to cap its recharge. But I'd also want some more global recharge so I can get this thing recharging faster than 300 seconds. Because the problem is its duration is only 60. So with 300 seconds, you're still looking at a 5-minute, power here, cooldown, and it's up for a minute. So you pretty much got it up for 1, down for 4. That's only a 20% efficiency at that point. Is it worth trying to get that even faster? I mean, maybe get your global recharge, gets this thing to, I don't know, 4 minutes, recharge. I don't know what the most you get out of it. Let's just say Pipe Dream, you get a 4-minute recharge. Is that worth it for what it's doing? When it does some great numbers. If you look at the numbers, right, we're getting 13.5% defense, recovery, 106.8 right now, and then regen 150. So the defense is pretty nice. All right, let's see what ideas she's got at this point, because maybe she's thought of something. I don't know if I'd want to go too crazy with it though, just because you only got 3 slots. If I had 6 slots, I'd defense and endurance and healing. All right. Option 1, healing sets. Boost the regen effect, gain regen or health. Numina, Panacea, preventative medicine, doctor wounds. Would I put the regen proc in there? No. I don't know if any of the globals uniques would just keep firing the proc. I don't know if it's like a stamina situation. I don't think it is. Boost regen, gives extra survivability, good synergy with his tough support identity. Cons, may require mixing to hit recharge goals, no bonuses to recovery, defense side's untouched. Defense sets, focus shorten to cooldown, add defense, reinforce 13.5. I mean, what could I logically get the defense to if I were to slot it? 15, 20% if I really, really hammered at it. But again, it's only going to be up, a fifth of the time. I don't think it's worth it. A quarter of the time at best. Luck of the Gambler set in there. Okay. Reactive defense. Gift of the Ancients. I could use it. Now, this might be an interesting idea. What if we use it kind of as a mule? Like we just say, hey, you know what? The best we're going to do, this thing's going to be recharging. If I took the recharges out of it, I could put like a Luck of the Gambler in there. I could put some of the other, like the Gift of the Ancients. Doesn't have a global recharge, I don't think. I could do something like that, maybe. Never thought of it that way. Like if I go in here, sets defense, right? What if we did something like, Luck of the Gambler, recharge? Could I also put the shield wall in here? Could I put the scaling resistance, damage resistance in there? Could I put the run speed gift of the ancients? Could I put the Kismet accuracy booster in there? the steadfast, or sorry, the karma knockback. I mean, so let's say if it works, I could put knockback, accuracy, recharge, right? That'd be kind of an interesting trio. But I don't know. Do these things work through Unleash Potential? Will you get the knockback protection, the accuracy, and the recharge? Because that could be interesting, right? That could be fun. Make this kind of a, yeah, it's only recharging every 8 minutes or something, but it's giving me all those global bonuses. That could be an interesting thing. Hmm. Now, if those work in there, though, then doesn't that mean, oops, didn't want to do that. Doesn't that mean that the other global shortener, like Miracle, would Miracle work in there? Plus recovery? I don't know if any of you guys know that. Let me know in the comments. Preventive medicine, I've put the chance to absorb in there. Would that work? Because if they do, then shoot, I should put those in there. Kind of makes this a really nice mule. If that works, think about this. If that works, you could 6-slot Unleash Potential and put a whole bunch of unique procs in the damn thing. Because I know like Luck of the Gamblers work kind of like that, right? I mean, you put them in any of these defense powers, they kick off the global recharge. So I think, even if you don't have the power activated, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't know, unless it doesn't, somebody let me know. But I'm pretty sure like Luck of the Gambler, you put it in something like stealth. Even though you have your stealth not toggled, you're still getting the bonus. So if like you're doing like permadom, that's one way you can do it, cheesy. Like you use like infiltrate, stealth, invisibility, whatever. All right, so that's an option. I need to test that. So that would be wicked cool if so. Because then it might make Unleash Potential great as a massive 6-slotted mule. And it wouldn't be like wasted at all. I mean, imagine you're able to put all those things in there, and then Unleash Potential itself is an awesome power. I'm gonna have to test that in game. All right, well let's see. Let's see what she's thinking. Let's see what her conclusion is. Let's cut to the chase, Kathy, shall we? My final suggestion: if Frisson is a survival-oriented support control hybrid, and you're already planning an adrenaline boost plus recovery plus regen aura, then Unleash Potential should probably lean defense or healing, since you already have recovery well covered. Well, adrenaline boost is not for me, so that's not helping me. Recovery aura is for me. The regen aura is for me. So those two kind of combine with what this thing does recovery and regen wise. So it might make sense to go after the defense. So they're thinking preventative medicine, Numina, and heal. That doesn't make any sense. Luck of the Gambler. Hmm. I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna pencil in my idea. I think we'll kind of go with one of the things she's suggesting. So let's say we do this. Let's say you go Luck of the Gambler, defense, recharge. Okay. Now that thing's at 400 seconds. Then let's say we do, I don't know, what else could make this guy better survivable? The recharge would be nice. I kind of like the idea of just having an extra 6% accuracy in my pocket. So the Kismet in there. That could be nice. Does that show up as a global boost? We go Windows. What is it? Advanced totals? Miscellaneous. Yeah, so well, this shows up here in your miscellaneous advanced totals. It's showing us a 6% from the Kismet right there. All right. And then what if you did, I don't know, the global resistance shield wall in there? Would that make sense? The recovery, I'd have to look. Oh, this is just freaking crazy if this actually works. Knockback protection would be great in there. So then I don't have to. What if I put the karma, excuse me, knockback in there? That could be funny. All right, let's just pencil that in. And then because I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and pencil in another Luck of the Gambler here because I want to see if I can get some global recharge to help me with unleashed potential to come back faster. So I'm going to go ahead and just toss that in there right now because then I can probably throw another one here in Frozen Armor. Now, I'm not trying to steal Kathy's agency here. I'm just trying to make this make sense without having to get into it with her for the whole shebang about defense sets and things because I just don't think she's ready for that next level. I think that's because she's already recommending the Luck of the Gambler. So, and she's already recommending a Frankenslot concept here. So 3 different things. So I'm just kind of commandeering that with that crazy idea. Now, if my idea of the unique globals doesn't work, then I can just go and Frankenslot it with whatever, or just go straight Luck of the Gamblers on it. You know, because if you were to 3-slot Luck of the Gambler, you get regen and hit points, so that would help us. Okay. All right, so because we're on the defense stuff right now, I think what I'm going to do is actually I just popped open Cydia data. And I think what we'll do is go ahead and pull up the boost set groups and pull open the the defense sets. Give her this information. Let's do this. Let's give her this. And we'll say, let's go down the defense rabbit hole now that we're talking about it. I'm wondering if we can use unleash potential as a defense set unique IO mule. She probably knows what that means. If so, there are some awesome defense uniques that we could pile into those 3 slots, including the Luck of the Gambler global recharge. Here are the defense sets. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to assume she knows what any of those are. I'm going to go ahead and there's just a ton of this effing data, guys. Ton of it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab Karma's data, copy this, slap it over here. Boom. And I'm going to do that for the rest of them. Let me pause this video and I'll come right back when I'm done. All right, I just remembered something before I start diving down this defense rabbit hole that we haven't slotted recovery aura yet that has two slots that we can use. So that's what I'm going to ask her to look at first. Let's go back to Kathy here. So I ask her recovery aura. Well, I tell her, hey, let me think about the whole Frankenslotting thing for unleash potential. Let's look at recovery aura with 2 slots. So she says, all right, zoom in on recovery aura. Excellent power to optimize carefully even with just 2 slots. Team recovery buff. You cast it every 8 minutes, 200 seconds. So we got a lot of these long recharge powers. So it would be nice to get some global recharge in this build. So I think I might make that a focus. What types of sets? Endurance mod. It doesn't take healing sets. It does not take healing sets. I would have told you if it took healing sets. Again, where are you getting this? That's regen aura and mod sets. Sometimes mistakenly assumed to take due to its function. Yeah, assumed by you. All right, so end mod sets only. Best option, preemptive optimization. It gives max endurance. Perfect synergy. All right, let's go ahead and look and see if preemptive optimization indeed takes, yeah, it does give max end. So what are we doing? We're doing end rec and end rec would be my suggestion. I'm thinking I would do this and then I would do where is it? That one. Let's see which one she actually chose. Which two enhancements from preemptive did you want to use? And then I'll go ahead and tackle this defense thing. End rec and end. I think the end rec. What about the end mod and redux recharge? You're referring to this enhancement. I know which one I'm referring to. It's the one you should be using. Triple hybrid. Yep. Very efficient, but slightly lower numbers in each stat due to dual focus piece. Recommended update. If your goal is the maximum efficiency per slot and not chasing exact set bonus or stat caps, then replace the 2-slot plan with that one. Yep. All right. She's ready for me. Regen aura. We already did regen aura, girl. What are you confused? You confused, girl. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. Let me save this. Save this. All right, so she's going, hey, you want to go back to regen aura? We already did regen aura. We're doing the 4 slots, so I'm not gonna entertain that question right now. Instead, I'm going to let's get her to dive into the defense stuff. So I've got that ready. Let's go down the defense rabbit hole now that we're talking about it. I'm wondering, let's go down the defense now that we're to whatever. I'm wondering if we can use Unleash Potential as a defense set, unique mule, blah, blah, blah. We can slot defense sets into combat. Now, here's what I talk about the Unleash Potential. So let's do this. Let's circle back to Unleash Potential and go down the defense rabbit hole. Just set the stage here. I'm wondering if we can use Unleash Potential as a defense set mule. And then I'm also telling her that, hey, we also can slot defense into combat, jumping, frozen armor, and fortitude. So we can look at defense sets now and go after 4 powers potentially. So I give the list of the powers and I give all of their stats. Boom, 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 like this. Let's pump this in there and see what she's thinking. So we've got perfect moment to do it. I think she's just kissing my butt again, but that's okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm looking at slotting these 3. Maybe she has a different idea for Unleash Potential, but I'm thinking that. Then we got combat jumping with the Luck of the Gambler. Then we got frozen armor, so we can go after this with some defense. And then we can go over here to fortitude where we had already put some defense. And then once we have this defense stuff all situated, that's pretty much all of our buffing support powers, I think, at that stage. The rest of this would then be our controls and attack powers. So I kind of want to maybe wrap it with that. I think that's a Good place. All right, so she is thinking the bejesus out of this thing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, she's kind of getting slow now. But I mean, look at all of the crap we've been just talking about with her for days. Just tons of stuff. All right, so let's see what she's saying here. Unleash potential defense unique mule plan. This self buff power blah yeah. 3 slots. Since it's not spam, it's an ideal place to park powerful global procs and set bonus IOs without worrying about overclicking. Key defense uniques. Luck of the Gambler. Reactive defense. I could see reactive defense. Shield wall. Alright, let me go and take a look at those 3. See what if that makes sense. Reactive defense. So she's suggesting reactive defense would be scaling resist. So she's going for the protection stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I was also looking at it from the kind of offensive with the 6% accuracy. Because I have no way to boost accuracy here. So if I'm missing a bunch of crap, that's going to be a problem. So that's why I kind of like that. I like the knockback protection because where else am I going to get it? I'd have to go combat jumping and put like Blessing of the Zephyr in here. So I'm gonna suggest this Karma and see what she thinks. Well, let's keep going. So she's going full in kind of defense mode with that. Ideal slotting then is those 3. Okay. Other powers that take it. Frozen armor. It already has 2, 1 slot left. Good place for Gift of the Ancients. The run speed. Yeah, I wouldn't put run speed in there. That's a waste. I think you're better off with Kismet. I mean, run speed's cool. If, you know, that's sort of what you're trying to get. Movement, mobility, but if respec allows more, can also complete 4 to 5 Gift of the Ancients for all that stuff. Combat jumping 1 slot. Slot mule for reactive defense. Luck of the Gambler. Each unique can only be slotted once per build, except for Luck of the Gamblers. Fortitude, 4 slots. Probably not the best place to mule uniques, but viable for set completion bonuses. Final thoughts on Unleash as a mule. Strategic use, global boost, keeps toggles open, cost efficient. All those are impactful, but or expensive, but they're impactful. All right, here's what I want to do. I'm thinking the Luck of the Gambler, Kismet plus 6% accuracy, and Karma KB resist in the Unleash potential. Let's see what she thinks about that idea. I mean, she's going to agree. I just want to. Here's a breakdown of exactly what you'd get by doing that. I know what I'm getting because I was the one who suggested it. So it's going to free up combat jumping and frozen armor. Buffs every aspect of Frisson's performance. Power cycling, control reliability, stability of knockback heavy content. Couple notes. None of these bonuses require the power to be active to work. 1 slot of the benefits are global, always on. That's what I thought. She seems to be confirming that, but I want to test it still. Only 1 copy is allowed. Final verdict. All right. Let's go with this for now. One correction is that the LOTG recharge is not unique, and you can slot it 5 times in different powers. I think I'd like to take advantage of that with the other defense powers we're talking about. So let's look at CJ, Frozen Armor, and Fortitude with that in mind. We can also look at the defense uniques we've passed over so far. All right, so let's clarify that. Now, frozen armors are 1 and fortitude are 2 good powers. We could slot the bejeekers out of those with sets. So let me go ahead and take a look at those options. So let's say fortitude, we slotted it defensively. Let's say we go reactive defenses. Would it make sense to go 4 slot there? Resistance, hit points, resistance. So that's a nice, set of bonuses we could use. Shield wall would give us the global resistance, then get regen, hit points, and other damage resistance. So that's pretty good. If we 4 slotted luck of the gambler, regen, hit points, accuracy. So that's interesting. Regen, hit points are nice. Accuracy be good. Could use that. If we did that twice, you could do it in frozen armor and in fortitude. So we could double stack that crap. Well, let's see what crazy suggestions Kathy's going to make here. All right, so recharge speeds now flags unique, so you can slot up to 5 times. It gives a powerful path forward to stack global recharge while layering resistances. So we could 1, 4, 4. Let's break them down. Luck of the Gambler, she's suggesting for combat jumping, which is what I wanted to do, so I'm agreeing with that. Frozen Armor. Replace defense set pieces. Could use it to mule additional Luck of the Gambler, Shield Wall, Gift of the Ancients. Number 1 she's suggesting is Global Recharge. She wants to, mule, not mule, but put all these things. What's her fascination with the run speed? Shield wall I can see, yeah. Okay. Why would I want the force 4-piece gift of the ancients? Recovery, mez. So for balance, she's recommending Luck of the Gambler. Like all these effing uniques. Oh my lord. Why? Fortitude. Buffing an ally. Should be to hit and recharge, which you already have. Fortitude also takes defense, meaning we can insert a 4-piece set. Let's see if the numbers warrant making this a really high defense power. That's something to consider. Is Fortitude's base defense boosting is 14%. So yeah, I mean we could jack the crap out of that, get it up to about 20%. That'd be pretty strong. So I'm almost liking Luck of the Gambler in here. Because remember, we took out the recharges in Unleash Potential. So we can effectively get them back by getting 4 Luck of the Gamblers in here. Now we've added, what's that, 28, 30% recharge globally. So now Unleash Potential's recharge is 461. So we're getting back to where we got. It was 3 something when we had the couple of the recharges in it, straight recharge. So we're doing okay. Then it's just a matter of if we're going to go Luck of the Gambler here, do we want to 4 slot Luck of the Gamblers, get some regen, get some hit points and accuracy? That could be a plan. Or we can switch over to a 3 slot. Let's say reactive defense, smash lethal, hit points, maybe. Shield wall, regen, hit points, maybe. The Gift of the Ancients, recovery, and the fire. Now, this actually might be a decent idea. If we go with Gift of the Ancients, it gives us recovery, which we could use, especially if you're going higher recharge now. And it gives us some fire cold resistance, which would stack with the fire cold resistance we have from Frozen Armor. So that could be a useful little strategy there. Something cheap like Red Fortune gives us Fire Cold and Smash Lethal, so that could be something useful. Interesting, interesting. I don't think I want to set Mule again like she's thinking. You know, I could, but then you're just basically saying, screw it, we're going with just base everything at that point. Because what she's suggesting is we go and do Shield Wall, the unique. Gives us resistance. I like that. What if we do this? Defense endurance. We need endurance reduction in this damn power. And then we go do that one. Okay, the defense is at 45%. Endurance is like 50%. So the endurance cost is 2.6. That's unleash potential. Frozen armor would be 0.22 per second endurance. So that is pretty good. And it gives us regen and hit points. Which, we could use some more hit points. And we get some more global resistance. So our resistance numbers shut off. I think at rest is on. Shut that off. So resistance numbers, cold is decent. Fire's starting to get up there. And I think over here with the other four, if we concentrate on kind of recharge, we go with the Gift of the Ancients like she's been suggesting. We go for heavy recharge on this one. Endurance recharge. And I don't want the global thing. Do that with fortitude. Okay, if we do that, fortitude's recharge is now 30 seconds, duration 60 seconds. So we've got that on two people. Sorry, duration's 120 seconds. So we could effectively have 3-4 people fortituded before it starts wearing off. So I kind of like that, and it gives us some fire cold resistance and some recovery. I think that's a decent idea. I think that's not exactly what she's suggesting, but I think it makes sense. So she's talking Red Fortunes here, which I don't have an issue with that. Unleash. So she is saying Luck of the Gamblers, Fortitude, Red Fortune. What's up with Red Fortune that she wants that one over the Gift of the Ancients? Smash lethal, fire cold, damage boosting, meh. I don't think that's gonna be a great idea. Smash lethal, we really don't have any smash lethal, so why start now? I think this makes more sense. Let me run this by her and just see. Let's see what she thinks about this. What about if we put the LOTG in all 4 powers, and then for its other 3 we put Gift of the Ancients and focus on the enhancements with recharge reduction, and for frozen armor we grab the shield wall set with the resistance unique and focus on and redux for the other 2 slots. I think it's shield wall, right? Shield wall. I think that's the power. Yeah, shield wall. Defense endurance and defense endurance recharge. That's what I was suggesting. Let's see if she... That dramatic pause is a splendid idea. I think she's going to agree with me. Or she's going to say that's madness. This is madness. So here's what I'm thinking. The shield walls go in here with the luck of the gambler. The gift of the ancients go in here with the luck of the gambler. I don't need the unique increased run speed. I don't see how that's helping me. This is not going to be a mobile character that I can... Yeah, she's really slowing down right now. Really slowing. Let me pause this and get her to think faster. All right. She's back up. All right, global recharge, durability, recharge focus set bonuses, gift of ancients. You're minimizing endurance strain by sliding not end redux. So combat jumping, luck of the gambler. Yes, frozen armor, luck of the gambler, shield wall. Fortitude, luck of the gambler, gift of the ancients. Okay. Unleash potential. Luck of the gambler, Kismet, karma. Yeah. I think we're set, guys. I mean, so here's the thing. I have done a lot of directing of her final decisions, but the initial incentive was her choices. Like, I would not have come up with this as the idea to start. So I'm kind of feeding off of what she's suggesting and then throwing out my ideas how to make it effective and how to make it work. So I'm not just taking exactly what she wants to do and going with it. I'm like, okay, some interesting ideas. Let's tweak it with what I know about the game and what I think this character can do and see what happens. All right, where are we at globally? So we got Smash Lethal 37. That's not bad. I may hopefully get a little bit more out of this, but you eat a purple during fights and you're going to be, close to 50% or whatever. So that's going to make it pretty survivable and a lot of contact plus your controls. If I can get some more fire damage resistance would be nice because cold resistance isn't going to help me. I don't think I can get, enough sets to make this worth. I'd have to really chase Smash Lethal hard resistance. I'd like to get some energy resistance would be nice. But I like my recharge is starting to get their 30% right now with those 4 luck of the gambler. So if I can get another 20% recharge or something like that, 30% recharge from other sets, maybe grab a purple set or two somewhere, throw it in here. I know I can get more recharge from like 4 slotting like the holds and stuff with basilisks. And those are 7.5%. So I could easily get another 30% recharge. So I can do something like that. Get my global recharge up. That'll make stuff like, let's see, what is regen aura looking at? Right now, regen aura's recharge is 240. So that's, 4 minutes right now? So that's pretty good, right? And duration 90 seconds. I can shave a little bit more off that. Recovery aura 280. My controls are, let's recharge 139 with my AoE hold. That's going to be another important one. If I can get that a little bit faster, down to closer to 100 seconds would be nice. All right, so hey, we're on to something. I think it's starting to shape out. The attacks and the controls are going to make the rest of this make the difference or not. My question or my decision is going to have to be, what do I want to focus on? Do I want to... Because one thing I've pretty much never done with the controller is really just focusing on raw control. Like, what if I slotted all these controls for like controls instead of even worrying about damage? I've never done that. I've always just gone after damage to boost them up. But maybe I become a little more selective. You know, the single target stuff I can focus maybe on damage, or single target stuff I focus on control. And then the cone stuff I focus on damage. I don't know. Some ideas there, some thoughts. And because containment is triggered by immobilize, what I could do as an idea is my cone immobilize area of stasis. What if I slotted that for a bunch of immobilized duration so that this power, instead of worrying about it being a damager, it just locks targets in place, and then I can get the containment to give me the damage that I'm, going to go less on. That's something I can do. And another thing I can look at is weaken resolve. I can put accurate defense or accurate to hit buffs in that. So I can get some interesting bonuses there because I have it fairly heavily slotted with 4. Mighty Leap will take. I could put the Blessing of Zephyr knockback protection there instead of using Karma here, and then I could switch this to like the scaling damage resistance. That might be another way to kind of get what I want. Or I could put a stealth in here. Right, if I come over here, Unbounded Leap, take the stealth proc. That could be a useful place for that. I still have Reverberant. It's going to be throwing out more damage control. So I think I got a lot of options still. Lots of decisions. And this is where I don't know that the AI is going to be able to handle that 4-dimensional chess that we're talking about. Because all these moving parts, each individual power, you have a bunch of things you can slot, options, and then which specific enhancements and what the total numbers are. And then you've got how those interact with other powers. And then you're going to have the globals and then the rule of 5. And then you're going to have your incarnates kicking off in there too. So there's lots of moving parts that I don't know if she's going to be able to handle it. Just given that the massive quantity of conversation data we've had already, just with the initial build, having to keep track of all that information. And now we're doubling it, tripling it with all this other nuanced decision making. Again, I have the advantage over the AI of being able to keep looking at my mids and going to the city of data and pulling up the numbers specifically. She doesn't have access to all that stuff. I mean, she's got the brain power to do it, but just the access to the information is what's missing. All right, I'm going to end it with that, guys. I think we've got at least half this build put together at this stage. And then next time I'm going to focus on those controls and attacks and then get the incarnate stuff in there. I didn't expect this to go as long as it was, to be honest. I mean, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I can bang this out in an hour or two. But this is some intense thinking that we're doing right here. And a lot of it, of course, is you have to do the back and forth with your AI. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Like, aside from the entertainment value, as it were, as it is for this YouTube video, would I do this regularly? Is Kathy giving me some genius insights into mids planning my build? No. I mean, there's a couple interesting things she suggested, but she doesn't have enough experience to really get some insights here. And I don't know if she can, without playing the game. But I'm hoping that the process here will teach her. And then when we see if that is carried on to another build, that's, I think, the ultimate test of this. Because if she can learn from this and then apply it to additional characters, that is where we can have some fun or some deeper insights here. Once she has all the information, we can maybe dive into some things. And I'd like to see if she has any suggestions for respecking. Like, hey, maybe we should take one of those slots out of Frost Breath and move it over to whatever and get 4 or 5 slots out of it. All right. Calling it with that. We're going to wrap this up. Been talking about my boy Frisson here at the concert, getting ready for it. We're going to move on to finish this up and then incarnate and then costume and then launch them in the game. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you got some good stuff out of this. And we'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.